Let's start this raw emotional video. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming a very raw and emotional video, and I've decided to do this purely because I want my story to be heard and my story to motivate people. So I'm actually splitting this video into two videos. One of them is going to be my fibromyalgia story and one of them is going to be my healing story. Just quickly adding, fibromyalgia is an unexplained illness. There is no cure for fibromyalgia as it stands. It is a lifelong condition and there is actually no way to stop the pain. However, you can have medications that will numb the pain. So for 18 months I had fibromyalgia. I was actually on amitriptyline, but I'll get onto that in a little bit. So in February 2015, when I experienced my first bit of pain, it was actually in my thighs and my knees, and it's not good pain. I remember coming out of the cinema, I was really hurting, and I thought, oh, because I'd done a workout earlier in the week, that it was just DOM, so delayed onset muscle soreness, but turns out it wasn't, but I didn't know that, so I didn't tell my mum, and we went to the cinema with my brothers and sisters. So we went to the cinema to see a movie, and halfway through the movie I remember getting really intense pain in my legs, and I didn't know what it was. I thought, oh, it's because of the workout, but it didn't go after half an hour, and I think the movie was like an hour and 20 minutes, and then we came out and it was still really sore, and I didn't know why, or go and look online and search in Mr. Tumnus from Narnia. So if you've seen Narnia, you will know that he has, he's half animal, half human, and his stance is how I was that day. And actually, whenever I did try and walk from a certain point, I think after 2 months, when I had intense pain, and that was practically every day, but I couldn't really walk, and I told my mum, and I was like, it's just really hurting, like we're gonna have to stop. Where I live, we were in town, so we went shopping for a little bit, looking around clothes shops and everything, and the pain just got really intense in my legs, and I burst into tears, told my mum that it's really painful, I can't really do much, and the sensation I got wasn't good. It was like burning, I think. Yeah, it was like burning and just really sharp pains. It was like someone was stabbing a knife into my legs, which wasn't a good feeling and was really weird to describe to someone if I wasn't getting swelling or bruising or like red marks. I wasn't getting anything. And so I sat down, and sitting down didn't help either. So sitting down or standing up doesn't actually help me when I have pain. I should rephrase that, when I had pain. So it was really hard for me to actually relax. So after that experience and encounter, my mum actually took me to the doctors to see what was wrong, and the doctor actually suggested that I might have fibromyalgia, but she wasn't sure if I would have it because fibromyalgia is actually common in 35 to 55-year-old women, and being a 16-year-old at the time, that was not a possibility for me to have something that would take over my life necessarily. Like, I didn't want to have an illness that meant I couldn't join in as much as I want to and have to limit myself. I'm very full on as a person, and this really stopped me from being me in the sense that I can't join in. 2 months in of having fibromyalgia, I actually started using a wheelchair with small wheels, and this is a big point because they thought, before I was diagnosed, they thought I might have arthritis as well. So this motion with a wheel, using a wheelchair with big wheels and going like this probably wouldn't help my back. So we picked a small wheeled wheelchair that I could use, which was great, but it kind of took away the freedom of me turning, or if I was having a good pain day but arm day, but my legs weren't cooperating, then yeah. So around 1 month into not being diagnosed, I actually experienced pain in my shoulders, and that pain in a period of a week, every day it went a little bit further down my arms and actually went all the way into my hands. And unless you've had the pain or you've seen someone with pain like this, it's very difficult to describe to someone. But it was like stabbing motions all over me, and it wasn't, I would never wish fibromyalgia on anyone. It just broke me completely. Because it was my GCSE year, I was actually sitting my exams and I had a scribe in around 3 of the lessons that I picked, but I still had a massive chunk of lessons where I would actually just sit there and I couldn't do anything because I couldn't write, and that wasn't really fair on me and it wasn't fair on the teachers. Once the pain was all over my body, I think it was one day, so I had pain in my arms, in my legs, in my feet, in my fingers, and I hadn't had pain in my back, and I thought this was because it would never get in my back. And I remember getting ready for an exam, I think it was my maths exam, and I actually experienced sharp pains along my spine from when I moved up too quickly. I thought it might just be like, you know, when you turn your neck too quickly and you get pain. I thought I just had that in my back, but it ended up being there for like 2 days. Maybe, no, I think it was there for a week, that pain. So throughout all of this, I was on so to start off with, I was on cocodamol, paracetamol and ibuprofen, and the pain, it wasn't doing anything for me, and it wasn't even touching pain, even to begin with. And I told my mum was like, oh, we'll see how it goes, and it didn't get better. So they actually prescribed me with amitriptyline, which I will leave a spelling here, which, going on it first, it's a really drowsy medication. Like, it will make you really drowsy the first time you take it, or it did for me anyway. And I basically fell asleep within 20 minutes of taking it. And you're meant to take it in the evening so that it lasts all day, basically, the next day, and you can sleep well. And I mean, I was on 10 milligrams to start off with, but that wasn't doing anything. When I say it wasn't doing anything, it wasn't touching the pain, it wasn't reaching it, but it has to be in your system for around 3 or 4 days before. So like, say this is like my pain, every day will build up a little bit closer to that, and it will stay like that, and it will numb it for me. But it wasn't working, so they had to up it, and they upped it again. So I actually, the highest amount I was on was 30 milligrams, which isn't much. It's not high dosage, it's a low dosage, but it's a very drowsy medication, and it numbs pain. Yeah, it numbs pain, but for me, even though it was numbing pain, it wasn't stopping the pain as much as it first did. And I wanted to go higher, and I wanted to go higher because I wanted the pain to stop. I didn't want to feel the pain. But I still had it in my legs, and if I had taken it any higher, it's like whenever I up my amitriptyline, I actually feel like I've had a hangover. So a really, really bad headache for maybe 3 days. It's like a constant hangover because my body's getting used to it. Yeah, so what I was also going to say about this was I lost a lot of my self-confidence and my self-esteem because I felt that I wasn't me. I felt like because I had this illness, I couldn't be myself because I couldn't do the things that the old Millie could do, and I couldn't run, and I couldn't walk, and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do, so why should I be anything else that I could do? So going to church, I had to have a wheelchair, and I couldn't really go to the long walk because my church is in Windsor. I couldn't really walk around the high street much, didn't really walk at all. I had my wheelchair everywhere, and I feel like invisible disabilities suck the most because no one can really see it, and unless I was in my wheelchair, that's when people took me seriously. But Windsor's very busy, so when I wasn't in my wheelchair, I think maybe like 1 week I didn't go in my wheelchair, and I got pushed a lot because I didn't, it looked like nothing was wrong with me. Having fibromyalgia also meant that I had hypersensitivity, which is basically when you touch me, it feels more like a punch. So I'm just more sensitive. So like if Karis came along, she touched my shoulder, it felt like she really punched it really, really hard. Which wasn't good because that really affected everything, but I didn't get bruising. So having fibromyalgia and an invisible disability is something that really upset me because you don't get bruising, you don't get redness, but you have the pain and you're experiencing it, but because no one else can see it, it's very difficult for people to understand. Having fibromyalgia also meant that when I was out and about I had a wheelchair, but when I was home my mum thought it was key for me to be having exercise, so I would walk. There were a lot of times when I couldn't actually support myself, and I would fall and I would have to stay on the floor for a while before my dad would have to pick me back up, because my pain was so bad that I couldn't physically push myself up. So I had fibromyalgia for a total of 18 months, and you know what, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it did teach me a lot about myself and things I had to change within me. So I would, if I had the option of not having it, I wouldn't take it, because I needed it to realise things about myself. So yeah. So that's my fibromyalgia story, and the next video on my channel will be my healing story. So if you want to watch that, find out about how I got healed, then just wait for the next video to be uploaded. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed, and please feel free to share my story with people who it might encourage. So yeah, bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.